Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 63 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on May 18th, 2021. How is everyone doing out there in podcast land? What you doing? You driving your car? You mowing your grass? You slacking off at work? Bro, be careful with that. You got to open a spreadsheet or something, man. You can't be slacking off. Man, my day today was insane. It was not. Oh man, it started off insane. It just one of those days, nonstop craziness, and it's only Tuesday, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah, but we're all gonna make it though. We're all gonna make it. So hang in there. If I can hang in there, you can too. You folks do your taxes? Like tax day was just it was a Monday, right? Yesterday. It was a bummer, right? Taxes suck. What a drag. Yeah, I'm speaking like an old 80s character in a TV show. Speaking of, have you guys watched that show on Netflix called Cobra Kai? It's where they revisit the updated lives of the characters on the from the Karate Kid movie. But it's told from the perspective, well, kind of like the main character in it is the Cobra Kai dude, the dude that Daniel-san ends up kicking in the face in the Karate Kid movie. But yeah, so so basically he's the main character instead of Daniel being the main character, which is kind of, it's interesting. It's super corny, actually. I think they'd make it corny on purpose, but it's actually pretty funny and entertaining. And honestly, I'm kind of rooting for the Cobra Kai guy. I'm like, yeah, he's so much cooler than Daniel at this point. The Daniel guy, he's super annoying. What I want to happen is I want the Cobra Kai dude and the whole gym or the dojo to take over the town and like beat the crap out of everybody. And then maybe does that make me crazy? Possibly. There are no guns in the show so far, which is disappointing. I'm only a few episodes in, but if they do have them in there, I feel like Daniel's wife is going to kill him. That's what I think is going to happen. Like, I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think that would be a good plot vector to occur. I don't know, man. I'm a few episodes in, and something about that lady just doesn't sit right. She just doesn't seem like she's really ride or die for Daniel. I bet you what happens is she has an affair with the Cobra Kai dude, and then she crushes Daniel's soul or something. You know what I mean? Or maybe she kills him with like a silenced pistol by their pool. They have a nice pool. She he's like having a drink, and she just walks up behind him. Whack. That would be crazy. And she could buy the silencer from Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. You like that? It's smooth, right? Might have been an abrupt transition, but Silencer Shop is the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. As a silencer consumer, Silencer Shop is not only my dealer of choice, but my infrastructure of choice. They've done a lot of cool stuff. They create an easy system that minimizes the likelihood of errors in your paperwork, and they pioneered the use of the QR code on the actual Form 4 so that the ATF can scan the code instead of inputting all your data themselves by hand. Pretty cool, I have to say. Now, there is a reason they've grown. They do continue to innovate, and they do have a network of dealers nationwide where silencers are legal, and you use their kiosk there in the different dealers, and you do your fingerprints and photos electronically there, and you cut down on errors. You simplify your silencer purchasing process. When you buy through them, you get a money back guarantee. It's great, man. You go to the website, do that. When you use them, there's no transfer fees, no paperwork errors. It's just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. And in case that weren't enough advertisement for you, secondly, this podcast is also sponsored by Pew Science. Pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. You might be asking yourself, suppression rating? What is that tomfoolery? Well, I'll tell you, listener. It's the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms, and it is based on true human sound perception. It is in Section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. The standard on the website there, it walks you through gunshot noise, starting with the very basics, with how do unsuppressed gunshot waveforms look in analytical space there. Like, what does it look like? If you were to measure a gunshot and you looked at the pressure with time and how it varies with time, what would that look like? Well, that's some of the information you might find in the Silencer Sound Standard on the website there. And, it's kind of like Wikipedia. It's a little nerdy, but hey, I try to make it relatively simple for you. And, because it's about silencers, so it can be fun. There are 7 parts there on the website for you to read. It's all on pewscience.com. Excuse me. And if you haven't seen the Silencer Sound Standard, that's totally fine. You can skip directly to the suppression rating in Section 5. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear. That's very important for you on different host weapons. And, it gives you a hearing safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which they're tested. It's tied to human perception. It's very good. If the rating is higher, if the big number in bold there at the top of each review, if it's higher, then the weapon system with that silencer sounds better. If it's lower, then, well, it's louder. And, just how your ear is going to hear it. And you're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world. The sixth and the sixth section of the standard, that's where all the reviews are there, and you can go check them out. And if you don't want to, if you say, Jay, it's too much, it's just too much. It's a data overload. Well, go to Section 7. Boom, rankings table, sortable, simple, actionable for you. Each line of the table has a silencer, has the ratings of the muzzle and ear and the composite rating, comparing the whole weapon system holistically. And then there's links to the reviews on the table there. If you see something you like, tickles your fancy, you say, I've heard about that before. Oh, Sandman L. I've heard about the Sandman L. I wonder how that does. Oh, look at that. There's a link to the review. You click the review, boom, you're there. Okay. So, there's links. You can dig as deep as you want. How far down the sound rabbit hole do you want to go? I will be your guide, but I can only take you so far. I'll take you pretty far, I promise. Well, I won't leave you behind. No man left behind. As always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PewScience for private testing and consulting services, there's a form on the website. You can go fill that out, and several of you folks have, and it's really cool. You can submit that inquiry to us through the website there with that form. When you do that, your contact information and all the test data we generate, everything we do for you, it's all held in strict confidence. It's no one's business but ours. Okay. And if for some reason you would like us to publish data that we generate as part of an effort for you, then we'd be, of course, happy to do that. And, we've released several reviews from private testing so far. A lot of the reviews you see on pewscience.com are internal data that's, completely done without any manufacturer contact at all. But sometimes, a manufacturer will pay us for testing, and we'll give them a test report, and they get those results. And sometimes they're like, man, these results were so cool. Would you mind also publishing these publicly? And I say, sure thing. I mean, I generated the data. I know it's correct. I'll be happy to show it to the world for you. And then I do. So that's how that works. You can support this podcast, actually. You really can. And you can support PewScience. You can support all the testing that I do to make this happen. You can support all these things by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. And you know what? It's not for everybody. Not everyone wants to pay money or something or contribute, and I definitely understand that. And if you can't, that's cool. No pressure ever. But you can also spread the word, and that doesn't cost you anything. You can rate it on iTunes, things like that, and be like, hey man, you ever heard about this podcast, the J Situation podcast? Like, no, what's that about? You're like, bro, you ever shot a silenced 22 in your backyard? And of course, the person's going to say, no, I would never do that. That's illegal. And you say, yeah, me neither. And then you got to talk about silencers. It'd be great. Trust me, you'd make a lot of friends. You'll influence people. You'll spread the word about silencers. It'll become normalized. And before you know it, we'll be back at the times when little Johnny could drive his pickup truck to the local high school with his rifle on the gun rack there, his back window, and everything was fine. I believe we can get back to that point. I believe we can get back to the point in this country where, the populace being equipped with small arms is normalized. I do have a dream that could occur sometime. I mean, why stop there? Why stop there, right? Silencer on every gun, I say. I say we start selling the guns with silencers already on them. Integrally suppressed everything. Let's do it. All right, man. I got 4 topics for you today. Topic 1: shot the Surefire's SOCOM556-RC2. Actually, I did. I'm going to give you some first impressions I had after shooting it on my 11.5-inch mid-length upper machine gun there with the Surefire OBC bolt carrier. I call this the unicorn host. I'll give you some impressions about that. Topic 2: new sound signature review coming this week. Oh my gosh, it's a big one. Are you ready? Are you ready for some football? No, it's not football, but it's a silencer. We'll talk about that. Topic 3: listener questions. I answer more of your queries from round 2. Yeah, remember we did a round 2 solicitation publicly there on the Instagrams, on the social medias. So I'm going to get into some more of your questions, you smart cookies. Yeah, smart cookies. Such good questions. Topic 4: dealers spotted in the wild using Pew Science data in their shops. That's right. The suppression rating might be at a gun counter near you. Member dealers leading the way. Thanks for spreading the word and for your support. Okay. And frankly, guys, my throat today, I don't know what's going on. I am having issues. So if I have to cough or pause, please excuse me. Okay, let's move into topic 1 at a time of 12 minutes, 31 seconds. I broke my pencil. It's like Ralph on The Simpsons. I broke my pencil. Topic 1: shot the Surefire SOCOM556-RC2. I'm going to give you some impressions. Man, that silencer though. I'm going to post a picture of a bunch of 556 dedicated 556 silencers, all together on I guess for this episode. So the photo that is going to go with this episode is going to show you every silencer in that photo is going to be a dedicated 556 silencer, or at least intended for 556. Excuse me one moment. I had to get some water. I don't know what's going on with my throat. It's weird. So yeah, I totally stuck in some trigger time during the work week last week in the evening. I was busting my butt all day on some really technical work stuff, and the time just got away from us there. I was working with another guy. Time got away from us, and the day got really late. And then I was packing up to go, and I went to my truck, and I was like, oh man, holy crap, the Surefire. I had brought my M16 with me. It's the ultimate truck gun. And yeah, and I had the 11.5-inch mid-length upper on it. It's my ride or die, super reliable gun, man, with the OBC. I just can't make that thing malfunction. When I'm using good mags, it is just dead nuts, that gun. And I had the 556 RC2 sitting on the 3-prong flash hider mount on the gun there. As I showed you in the photo with the podcast last week. If you haven't seen the gun, check out the photo from the previous episode on your podcast provider. If your podcast app or service contains the episode photo metadata, I think, because I think different podcast apps download different amounts of metadata. Like some download the text, some download the show notes, some download all of it with the photo. It just depends. I know. I think it's Spotify shows it. I don't know if the Google Podcast app on Android. I don't know if that shows the picture. I know the website has the pictures, and my Instagram has the pictures. The Facebook has the pictures. On the Pew Science LLC, the accounts on both those platforms, the J Situation on Instagram and Facebook too. So yeah, so you can see the gun there if you want. I mean, it's literally everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, the silencer is super physically attractive. So it's nice on the super sexy 11.5 with the Knights mid-length RAS, the rail adapter system. Yeah, so it's got that Knights quad rail free float. Come on, man. That's one of the best looking rails you ever put on a gun, son. Man, you don't even know. It's so nice. Yeah, anyway, I never get tired of looking at it, man. It's like my car, dude. My like I have a Corvette. Like, it is so pretty to me. I look at it when I'm walking away from it. I get out of the car. I'm walking away from it. I turn around. I'm like, damn. And that's how you know you built the right gun or bought the right car, right? All right, back to the silencer. So this gun, right? So I left the gas setting the same. I left the gas setting the same on the gun as I had with the CGS Helios QD and QDTI, like those are interchangeable, direct thread, okay, which is the same gas setting. Okay, let me back up. I use this gas setting with the Inconel Helios in my personal evaluation of it, direct thread. I got the R&D sample of the titanium version, did the same thing, didn't change it, of course. The same internals, should have the same flow restriction. So use the same gas setting. So that's 6 clicks open with a superlative arms gas block, with the block aligned properly on the gas port on this Faxon 11.5-inch mid barrel. Now this gun will run 7 clicks open unsuppressed. Got it? So if you increase the flow area through the gas port, the very minute amount of dwell time or dwell length on this barrel, it's very small. So unsuppressed, it still has enough dwell time. It'll run no problem, full auto, mag dumps, unsuppressed with 7 clicks open. Like, it's, some people are like, oh, that gun will never run unsuppressed. I'm like, no, it will. It will. You just have to configure the gun correctly, but it'll run. The gas port that Faxon put in the barrel is gigantic, so you have to restrict the gas anyway. So you're already putting an adjustable gas block on it, so who cares, right? So that's what I did. So remember though, so picture that, right? Unsuppressed, 7 clicks, but who runs SBRs or short barrel machine guns unsuppressed? That's like uncivilized. So, but remember, you're adding some dwell time with the silencer when you add a silencer to it, right? Because you're adding some flow restriction. You're decreasing the mass flow rate out of the system. Okay, so but the 11.5-inch mid-length gas barrel with a gas port restricted with the adjustable gas block, it's not very gas sensitive. The dwell time is already so short, like I was saying, so that when you add a silencer, you're adding dwell time to barely any dwell time you had before, right? So the gun is able to manage this better. All right, like this is actually an excellent real world example of a gas insensitive host weapon. And couple all of this with the fact that I use the Surefire OBC bolt carrier group in the gun, which weighs the same as mil-spec plus H3, but has a lengthened cam path and other cool features. Like it just means, like, combine all that, it just means that the gun is just freaking tuned like you would tune a race car. Like it's dialed in, dude. This is a dialed gun. This is a tricked out gun. Okay, so the Helios QD direct thread allows me to dial down the gas 1 click. Okay, so I left it in that position for the Surefire because I was like, I just wanted to see what happened. Okay, so how different is the Surefire compared to the Helios QD? Well, it's different. It's completely different, actually. Completely different internal design, different length. It's shorter. Different diameter. It's smaller. The Surefire has a built-in latch QD system. Okay. Both silencers are made of Inconel, the Inconel version of the Helios, but the construction is different, right? The Helios QD is DMLS Inconel. The QDTI is DMLS titanium. The Surefire has Inconel baffles, and I think other Inconel components too. I know, except for the end cap, I think where the temperature is lower at the end cap, I'm pretty sure they went to save cost and they didn't go with an Inconel end cap anymore. I think the older versions of the Surefire RC silencers did have Inconel end caps. I don't think the new RC2s have Inconel end caps, and I don't care. Frankly, it doesn't matter. The Helios QD and QDTI, they vent gas rather quickly to an outer annulus, and they recombine flow in the stack and have varying baffle geometry, okay? The Surefire also varies baffles. It does. But the baffles are dished cups. Like there's cups, and I guess I could call them like concave. I don't know what a good name, geometric name for them is off the top of my head. Dished. I like to think of them as dishes, like, because when I think of like a satellite dish, like a satellite receiver dish, that's what I think about when I think about Surefire baffles. Similar to the Ops baffles, or I guess you would call them Allen Engineering now. It's a very similar shape, and so those Surefire baffles, they have aggressive porting. Okay, so they're different. So same but different, right? It's way different. Now, the Helios QD has an oversized bore, so you can almost fit 9mm through it. I mean, you can't. I don't know. You shouldn't do that. Do not do that. But the Surefire, the 556-RC2, it's a dedicated 5.56 silencer. You can't shoot 30 stuff through it like you can the Helios QD, right? Okay, so that's quite a bit of a difference there, right? Like all those things I just explained, that's different. So at the end of the day, a really important thing for folks to realize is that both silencers are actually 5.56 silencers. The CGS the Helios QD can be used on a 30 bore, but I don't know. It is at the end of the day a purpose-built 5.56 silencer. The bore's just bigger, and that's really hard to think about. You just got to consider this. It's just a key distinction here. And when you look at the Omega chart on pewscience.com, you see that the Helios QD is an Omega Zone 6 for 7.62 silencers, right? Because it traps more gas than a Sandman L or like a Sandman TI, right? But it traps less gas than a Rugged Surge or like a Q Thunder Chicken. Okay, so that's kind of where it sits as far as flow restriction goes at an approximate level. Okay, so but where would the Helios QD, where would its Omega 5.56 metric sit? Okay, where would this sit on 5.56 weapons? Well, that's a different story. That's a different story. Okay, when you compare it to a 5.56 bore silencer. And see, I haven't computed this Omega 5.56 metric for the Helios QD, but I can tell you unequivocally that it has lower back pressure than the Surefire SOCOM556-RC2. And how could I possibly know that? Well, okay, for one, the Surefire, despite being shorter, has a dedicated 5.56 bore. Okay, it's a smaller bore. So there's that. Therefore, it's going to have more. The Surefire is going to have more flow restriction. Like, that's a gut check. I mean, is it always the case? Not necessarily, but that's a gut check. Now, even before shooting the RC2, I knew it was going to impart more impulse into my gun's reciprocating system. I knew it. But here's the thing. When it comes to 5.56 silencers, how restrictive is the RC2? You know what I mean? Like, as far as 5.56 silencers, when we're just talking about 5.56 bore silencers, I know I just got through saying that the Helios QD is a 5.56 silencer, and it is. But when we talk about true 5.56 bore silencers, how restrictive is the RC2 relative to those? Bottom line, I'm not sure because I need to test them all. But I put that RC2 on my gun without changing the gas. And it worked fine, dude. It did. It worked just fine. The brass ejection changed. Sure, it went to like 3 o'clock or like maybe almost 2 o'clock. I mean, I used to be at like, what was I? Was I 4 o'clock? Or something like that with the Helios QD? I don't know. You guys have seen the videos of me mag dumping that gun. That's on social media. If you want to pick what o'clock it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't really keep track of like the exact. I just go like kind of like ballpark. And so I think it went, because that's just a function test thing. It did change it now. But the gun worked really, really well with the RC2. So then what did I do? Well, I say, well, cool. Now let's close the gas and see what happens. So how much could I close the gas? Well, I closed it by a click to 5 clicks open instead of 6. Gun still locked back on an empty mag. Cool. So then I closed it by 1 more click to 4 clicks open. Bolt locked back, but the carrier locked back on the mag follower and the bolt didn't lock back on the mag follower. You feel me? So it was like it didn't have quite enough gas impulse at my carrier key to send that carrier back with enough momentum to lock back. Okay, I'm going to say that again. I just want you to really understand why that happened. So you make the port smaller. What are you doing? The gas port smaller by closing the gas block more. What are you doing? You're limiting the flow area. And what else have you done? Well, you haven't changed the time at which, or the time for which the gas port is under pressure. I mean, the bullet is passing the gas port and the bullet leaves the silencer. You're getting increased dwell time by putting the silencer on the gun. You are sending gas through the gas port for the same time duration as you were before, but now you have a smaller area. Okay, so you change your flow rate. You're imparting less gas impulse onto the carrier key, and in this case, you close it by you close it to only 4 clicks open, and you're not going to be able to lock back all the way on an empty mag. That's a telltale sign that you're undergassed. So there's your answer. You need 5 clicks. Okay. So the 11.5-inch mid-length gas rifle with Surefire OBC bolt carrier group, which is mil-spec plus H3 in weight if you're keeping score, if you want to just look at mass. And then the Superlative Arms gas block in restricted mode. It only needs 1 click of gas adjustment to tune the gun for the RC2 compared with the Helios QD direct thread, with the 3-prong flash hider on the Surefire. That's a really important part of this. So what does this tell us? I mean, really, man, how about them apples, right? Isn't that important? So what does this tell us? Like, that's a big deal. That's a big discovery. It really is. No one has ever said this. No one knows this. So you're hearing this for the first time. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us one or both of 2 things. First thing, the 11.5-inch mid is an awesome tunable gas insensitive host, and it's awesome. It doesn't care what silencer you put on the gun. Just tune the gas, and you're good to go. That's one thing it says about. That's one conclusion one could draw. Second thing, the RC2 has low back pressure for a 5.56 bore silencer. Maybe when you think about it, why would I say that based on just this? Well, we're going to have to see. I mean, we have to test it on the Mark 18, and we also have to compare it with the things like the Saker 5.56, the YHM Turbo, the RMS2 Hopai, all that stuff. But think about this. You're 1 gas click off. I mean, is it just the host? Is the host so good? Is the host so good that you're like, oh my God, you only need 1 gas click difference between the Surefire RC 5.56 RC2 and the Helios with a big old bore? Only 1 click? What? Yeah. Wild, right? It's wild. So we'll see what that means, because this host might just be a poor indicator. I mean, for gross magnitudes, it might just be like, well, this host is so good that, I mean, maybe the back pressure difference was super high, but I don't know, or maybe it wasn't. Is that a testament to the venting of the RC2? I don't know yet, dude. I haven't tested it. I haven't analyzed data yet. But isn't this interesting? So what did I do with the gun? Well, I did 3-round bursts with the gun in select fire. Okay, this was not a semi-auto fun time. It was late and I didn't have time. So I was like, well, I'm just going straight to select fire. And it was pleasant. Didn't do mag dumps. I didn't do complete mag dumps because I'm conserving ammo right now. I can't be wasting ammo. Would there be more gas in my face with the Surefire than the Helios during like a full auto mag dump? I mean, maybe possibly. Did I notice any when I was shooting? I didn't. No. So yeah, my gun is awesome. So I mean, I had hearing protection in too. I know I told you guys I was maybe going to shoot it without ears. I can't do that, guys. I can't risk it. My ears are actually pretty messed up. And actually, I just need to be more careful because I did shoot without ears several times a while back, and it was just not a good idea. Like, because a lot of times I want to hear it for you guys too, so a lot of times I want to confirm the suppression rating. It's just not worth it, dude, because it adds up. It's just one of those. It's a cumulative thing. Like, don't take the suppression rating, please, and use that and understand it. But don't be a hero and keep dosing yourself. You don't need to do that. Hearing damage is cumulative. The rating is for you as a guide. It's meant to let you know kind of what you can expect. So just be careful. So I did have a hearing protection in when I was shooting it. I didn't have multi crazy hearing protection on. I had some Surefire plugs that were kind of in my ears just fine. And yeah, was the silencer louder than the Helios QD? I think it was. I do think the Surefire is louder than the Helios QD is. Did I shoot them back to back? No, I didn't. So I would take my impression with a grain of salt right now. I do think it seemed to be louder, but then again, I was shooting in a different place. I was on asphalt, and nearer to a building on a slope. So there could have been some late time reflections that influenced my opinion too. But I did have hearing protection in, so it was I guess my kind of uncertain opinion on that, and due to I just didn't have a lot of time either. I think it's was it loud? I mean, I don't know. It wasn't crazy. So I don't know. I've gotten a lot of anecdotal reports from people saying the Surefire 556-RC2 is the loudest thing ever. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. So yeah. So my preliminary thoughts are, keeping in mind that I haven't tested it with high fidelity testing yet. So no test data. My preliminary thoughts are it's short, solid latch. It came right off. I didn't shoot that many rounds, but it seems fine, working fine. It looks good. It's pretty. It's durable, but it's not super heavy because it's not that big, right? Okay. It's supposedly good with flash reduction, supposedly. And it doesn't gas me out on my tuned gun. So right now, it's cool. It's a cool silencer. I don't know. It's fairly high quality. It's made well. Is it perfect? Probably not. As I put it through testing, you'll see the results. Okay, I'm excited, but I did want to let you know those are just my initial thoughts. I haven't really spent a lot of time with the silencer, so I'm going to shoot it more. I'm going to test it, and we're going to fully characterize it for you, and you're going to have the best Surefire 556-RC2 data that you're going to ever see in your life, dude. It's going to be the most comprehensive testing that probably anyone's ever done of it, frankly, with sound signature. Surefire hasn't even done this, so it's going to be awesome. What did you see before? You saw the 7.62 RC2 and the war comp versus the flash shutter. No one had ever showed you that data, ever. And the members have seen blast load at the ear on the bolt gun with the war comp. Remember, members, how you saw that? And I'm sure the members who have seen that, now you understand the power of PewSoft and the power of proper testing, right? Okay. Yeah, so not to brag, but buckle up. Okay, topic two at a time of 34 minutes and 18 seconds. I feel like we're going slower today. Well, maybe catch up some time. Stand by. I had to get some water. Okay, topic two. New sound signature review coming this week. A big one. Are you ready? It's a long time coming. I am actually super excited. Oh my God, you guys have been so patient for this one, and I am thrilled to be able to deliver this information to you, and I really think it's going to benefit a lot of people. You're going to like it. I do think you're going to like it. You're going to want it. You do want it. You need it. You've been patient. You've waited. It's coming. Stuff is here. What could it be? No, you'll know. You'll know soon enough. What have we learned about silencer technology so far? How does this one stack up? Are we going to start to round out the market in technology? What can different things do? How do certain advancements that have happened in recent years compare with old designs, with new designs? What does it all mean? What does the marketing say? What do the opinions of the competition say? Is marketing hype for or against silencers real? Who can you trust? Who can you really trust? At the end of the day, when it comes to sound suppression performance of a silencer, who can you trust? Pew Science. Stay tuned this week. Controversial? Maybe. Interesting? Probably. Hot topic? Most definitely is going to be a hot topic. This is going to be a big one. I'm actually... I thought about pushing it back because I didn't have time. I didn't know if I was going to have time to address the comments of this review. We're gonna give it the old college try. We're gonna give it the old college try. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's move into topic 3. That's all I'm gonna say about this. I'm sorry, but like I mean, what is that not enough of a tease for you? You have to wait like one day. Relax. Topic 3 at a time. 36 minutes, 41 seconds. Okay, topic 3, listener questions. Oh, it's my favorite time. I'm going to answer more of your questions from round 2. Man, you know what? Getting some feedback from you folks. You are all really enjoying these Q&A sessions, and I tell you what, I really am too. So let's go ahead and head back into solicitation 2. We'll head back into our handy dandy spreadsheet here, and here we go. Okay, I think I did this right last time, where I highlighted where we left off. Okay, so last podcast, the last question we answered here, it was global question 81, local question 10. That is question 10 of this solicitation 2. A gentleman asked, why do some silencers have more first-round pop than others? And, I answered, by letting them know that, first-round pop is a function of secondary combustion. And I did explain more about combustion phenomenon, in small arm gun barrels and, after uncorking. So if you want to hear more about my answer to that question, you'll have to tune into the previous episode. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into the next question here. Question 82, local question 11. The LaRue Tranquillo is rarely seen or mentioned. Is it a bad silencer or just a niche market? Oh, I guess the way you're asking that, sir or ma'am, is it a bad silencer or maybe meant for a niche market? Excellent question and observation. The LaRue Tranquillo, I think is how you pronounce that. Tranquillo. I have never shot one, sir or ma'am. I have not. I remember actually when Mark LaRue was developing the Tranquillo. I remember when he was I like saying that, Tranquillo. Shakaka. Remember the Ace Ventura part 2? Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. My ADD is like kicking in. No, I remember when Mark was developing it, he built a test. It was interesting what Mark did. He built a test apparatus to measure back pressure. He connected he enclosed his weapon in a block. And you got to remember, Mark LaRue is a very talented machinist, an experienced machinist. And he machined these blocks to enclose his upper and lower receiver into them. It was interesting. I saw this. And he connected the breech of the weapon system the flow path of the ejection to a balloon, like a water balloon, dude, like a kid's balloon from a birthday party, like a deflated rubberized balloon, straight up. And he would shoot the weapon, and if the balloon inflated less after firing, he would judge that system as having lower back pressure, all other things equal. It's interesting, right? The way he did that. It's not necessarily it's one way to do it. Oh, excuse me. It's one way to do it, I guess. He was basically measuring gas volume release determined by the weapon unlocking too early. That's what he was doing, right? So really what he was doing was he was measuring the symptom of too much back pressure, too much flow restriction. So indirectly, yes, I think it was a good test method for what he was trying to do. I think that his silencer probably does balance back pressure, meaning flow restriction, with sound suppression, but I do not know the extent of that balance because I haven't tested it. Okay, I don't know. So I guess the question is Mark LaRue with his Tranquil, is he robbing enough heat? Is he transferring enough energy during the flow through his silencer while maintaining the flow velocity to reduce back pressure, and balance the sound suppression? Like, how close does he get to the OSS balance? I don't know. Guys. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't tested it. And if I remember correctly, and I might be remembering this wrong, it's been a long time since I've seen Mark's silencer. I want to say it fits on some kind of proprietary muzzle brake, and I think it's like a long brake, and I don't know if that has something to do with the function. I don't know if that like adds baffles or what. Like I just don't. I tell you know what? Hey, we have the technology. Let me open up a browser window here. I'll Google it. LaRue Tranquil. I love how Google autocompletes. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to go to LaRue.com. Click on his silencer here. Oh, that's weird. Does he have multiple calibers? Okay, hold on. Let me click the suppressor category. Okay, looks like he has one called the M308. Yeah, okay. And then he has some kind of upper kit that comes with it. Whatever. Okay, I'm going to click on the silencer. So I'm looking at it. Looks like it, and maybe I should have done some pre-podcast research for you guys, but I didn't. So here we go. So in real time, I'm looking at the picture of this silencer. There's a couple things going on here. It has a muzzle brake. Interesting. It looks like it seems to have a tapered interface on the muzzle brake behind the brake portion with some kind of latch. Interesting. That's for alignment. And if LaRue was making it, it's probably aligned right. That guy's pretty meticulous, so I would venture to guess it's pretty concentric. Excuse me. I'm looking at the silencer itself. It looks like it has a significant amount of porting on the front end cap. So that right away is telling me that he's trying to release he's trying to increase mass flow rate by a lot, which means he's trying to decrease back pressure, flow restriction. Looks like he has some protrusion from the front of the silencer there, some artifacts that he might be trying to reduce flash with that. I would imagine he would be, given the fact that it probably has a high mass flow rate. So that's going to be important. He's going to need to reduce flash because he's going to get a lot of it. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like a QD taper, fine threads in front of the taper, whatever. Okay, cool. It's almost like an ops mount, but not. Okay. I don't know, guys. I don't even remember why I was looking at this. I was supposed to maybe tell you something about it. I don't know. It looks like the muzzle brake's pretty important for it, though. The way it works. I don't think you can mount this to any old mount. Looks proprietary to me. It looks like the marketing says, we received word that our warfighters need a suppressor with less back pressure. The thinking is our special forces, the tips of our spear, are eating too much gun smoke over the course of their careers. The Tranquillo is our solution to this issue. Buy with confidence. Okay. Fair enough. Looks like they says the Tranquillo's reduced blowback is what sets it apart. The design approach implemented what LaRue calls SOT, safer operator technology. Okay. With mitigation of gas blowback in mind, LEPE, or lower ejection port emissions, reduces dangerous materials and contaminants that typically encounter the user's face. LEPE is an internal design that allows a percentage of pressure to bypass the main flow path, resulting in extremely low gas blowback and soft recoil, with the benefit of optimum noise and flash reduction. Okay, so basically his marketing lingo here on his website basically says exactly what I just said, right? It says they are flowing more gas through the silencers to reduce mass flow rate, and he's saying with the benefit of optimum noise and flash reduction. So he's doing his best he can to suppress sound, even though he's let gas out. Okay. So it's like, he's trying to pull an OSS. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, cool. That's what it says. We'll see. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should test it. We'll have to find out. We can test it. We can test it and find out. Cool. And he says, keep in mind, he does say with soft recoil. So, okay, why would that be? Why would you reduce recoil with a silencer like this? Well, you're venting gas out the front, so. Maybe that would help you a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Venting gas can help you with recoil and stuff. I don't really know. I've never shot this, never tested it. So theoretically, I'm gonna close this. That's enough LaRue for. I can only take so much of LaRue in like a day. He's a nice guy. Okay. I hope that that answered your question, sir or ma'am, about the LaRue Tranquillo. It's rarely seen or mentioned. It's probably because it's Mark LaRue and he might not be marketing it enough. And I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why you don't see it more. Maybe it doesn't work well. I don't know. Or maybe it's great and no one knows. Or maybe he's back ordered, dude. I have no idea why. I couldn't tell you. I don't really have a good pulse on the market and why things sell and they don't. I can only tell you how things perform. And for that one, I have a friend, his name is Ben. He has one. He's a Pew Science member. I might ask him how he likes it. He shoots a lot of hogs in the face too. I mean, when he uses his guns, like that dude is like straight up, he's a killer. So if there's anyone that can tell me how he likes his Tranquillo, he would be him. But I know that he also recently bought a Nomad L or a Nomad LT. So maybe there's your answer. Okay. Question 83. Local question 12. So the 12th question in this second solicitation here. Can suppressor wraps change point of impact or reduce decibels? Seen some claim this. Okay, let me repeat this in a way that will be easy for listeners to digest. This gentleman or lady is asking those protective wraps that you put over a silencer to protect yourself from getting burned because silencers get hot. Do those wraps change your point of impact shift on your weapon, and or do they reduce the sound signature? He has seen some people say they do reduce the sound signature. Okay, so excellent question, sir or ma'am, or questions. Excellent. The answer about point of impact, I mean, technically, yeah. Technically, it's going to change it if the cover is heavy enough to add enough mass to the end of your barrel such that the natural frequency of vibration changes enough to make the position of your barrel different after the shot is fired but before the bullet leaves the barrel. Or should I say, at the exact moment that the bullet leaves the barrel? Clear as mud? No, but you guys know how that's why you get point of impact shift from mass, right? So basically, you have to make sure your barrel won't vibrate differently. Like for stuff not influencing how the silencer is actually attached and how the silencer is aligned concentrically or not, like that is for stuff that's not influencing the relationship between the bore and the baffle orifice. Anything that's not influencing that is just adding mass. So if you're shooting really far, maybe like a fraction of a minute of angle shift means more to you than a guy shooting only at 100 yards, right? because of like, if you have a fraction of a minute of angle shift due to added mass and you're only shooting 100 yards, well, you're just never going to notice it. So, I mean, like, you could notice some mass at the end of your barrel if you really notice the point of impact. Like, how good a shot are you? Okay, so there's a simple solution to this. Just try it. Whatever it does, it's going to be consistent because it's just mass, right? So anything, I guess, I don't know, anything to nothing to a lot, maybe. I mean, it just depends. So you answered your question, sir or ma'am. It's going to be consistent, whatever it is. But if you put something on your silencer, why don't you keep it on there? And you can test it yourself. So the point of impact is going to be due to mass. Because remember, the natural frequency of vibration is the square root of the stiffness of the barrel, if you represented it as like a beam, divided by the mass of the barrel. And you have to make sure you use consistent units, homie. Okay, so if you took the square root of the stiffness over the mass, you would have natural frequency. And so you see why the mass term, you're going to add mass. What's that's going to do? It's going to lower that number, right? Why is that? Well, if you add mass to a system, you're going to vibrate slower. That's a lower frequency. That's all there is to that, man. Okay, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah. So that's all. It's really not complicated. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Okay, so your second question was reduce dB. Reduce the sound signature with the not a chance, dude. Not a chance. The only way, actually, maybe I'm being too flippant. The only way a silencer cover is going to reduce the sound signature of a silencer is if there were harmonics resulting in resonance. Or maybe okay, let me be specific. If the added mass of the cover resulted in damping of the resonance. So like a ringing or a ping. You ever heard a ping in a silencer? Yeah, like that. Like, think about that. Where's the majority of the sound coming from? It's coming from the expulsion of gases out of the end cap, bro. That's where the majority of the sound. You can see this in the waveforms and the sound signature reviews. I don't even have to prove this to you. You can see where the sound's coming from. I've already shown you. So you can see during some of the reviews where I label the FRP waveforms with discrete events. You can see an early time. So there's part of the signature that's resulting from sound inside the silencer prior to the gas exiting, right? So there you go. That's what you'd be reducing. That's what you would be reducing. So that is part of the signature, but look how small that part of the signature is, right? It's nothing compared to the big boom out of the end cap. It's nothing. It pales in comparison, my friends, to that part. Okay, so the answer is no. Silencer covers can't reduce sound signature unless it's late time ringing or resonance, because the part that they can reduce in early time is eclipsed by the late time, and your ear is not going to be able to discern that difference. Got it? Make sense to you? It should make sense to you because you've seen it in pictures. If my answer was too fast or you don't understand, then well, we can talk further. But I think that so good question, sir, ma'am. I think those are 2 points. You asked about point of impact shift. You asked about sound. I hope that does that justice. I hope that helps. Okay. Question 84, local question 13. Lucky 13. What are silencer characteristics that result in low flash signature? What is this, like silencer designer question hour? 1 second, let me get a drink of water. Who are you guys asking me how to design your silencers? Jay, can you teach me how to design a silencer that'll be better than Surefire, more durable, lower flash, and win me a military contract and be rich? Jay, will you tell me how to do that? Bro, no, I won't. If I could do that, wouldn't I just do that? No, I don't have time. Maybe you will. Flash. Okay. What are silencer characteristics that result in low flash signature? That's a good question. It is. I'm just messing with you, right? Like, you can ask me whatever you want. I'm just giving you a hard time. Flash is an interesting thing. It is very difficult to explain this in words without using a picture. I like pictures. I'm visual. Okay, let me see how I'm going to explain this to you. Okay. There are certain things that happen after the bullet uncorks, leaves the crown, right? Right? That is after the bullet just leaves the muzzle crown. Just leaves it. If you study muzzle flash, you will see that there are three main components to flash. There are three main radiating flash regions of the flash itself. There are segments of flash. If you slow it all down really, really slowly, outside of the muzzle. Forget about the silencer. Don't think about the silencers right now. I want you to let's talk about flash and what it is. Okay, so first of all, you have primary flash, right? And then you have intermediate flash, and then you have secondary flash. Technically, you can also have flash happening. Remember, I think in the last podcast episode, I talked to you about precursor flow, and I talked to you about the air column in the barrel that the bullet is pushing out. Okay, so technically, you can have flash happening before uncorking from that precursor flow. It's from that gas column being pushed out by the bullet before the bullet leaves. And because you know what happens too, it's crazy. There's blow by where the gas pushing the bullet actually leaks past the bullet as it's pushing it. And then that mixes with that air in that air column as the bullet hasn't even left the barrel yet, but the air column's still in the barrel. That air mixes the blow by gases from combustion pushing the bullet, leak past the bullet, mix with the air in front of the bullet. You following me? And then you get combustion in pre-flash. So that's actually four. Four flash segments that are happening. So in machine guns, actually, you can have flash at the breech too. Because then you're getting all this powder buildup because you're rat-a-tat-tat, brat, 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 clack, clack. Like you're rat-a-tatting as we do, as machine gun owners do. And then you're getting residue, broette. You're getting residue at your breech. What's that doing? Well, it's incompletely burnt propellant. It's building up. What's that gonna do, bro? Well, it's gonna ignite when it gets hot, and you're gonna get more flash. So you're gonna get flash out of the ejection port. Now the powder might have flash suppressants in it, which some powders do, so that's gonna knock that down. But it can happen. So yeah. So burst fire. Like you can do bursts, you can do a bunch of bursts. Well, you're going to accumulate stuff near the muzzle. It's going to make the flash worse too. That's another factor. So now you know, is that enough for you to understand what flash, like how many sources of flash are, like what's happening? There's a lot of flash when you shoot guns. Now, so how do you stop it with a silencer? Well, you're not going to stop it. How do you mitigate it with a silencer? And guys, I'm not just talking about visible light. If you think the only flash coming out of your silencer is from visible light, and you think you're going to take a picture of that and put it in a recoil magazine and it'd be correct, you're going to be wrong. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. I've seen some stuff in those magazines that just, I mean, not to disparage anyone, but here's the bottom line, and this is what you need to know about flash and silencers, and this is probably all I can say on the podcast. If you can reduce the rate of stuff coming out of your silencer, you get less flash. You need to lessen the strength of the shock fronts too. And this is technical. I'm not sure I can. I mean, look, it's going to be hard to keep flow rate up and flash down. So that should be something. I mean, is that like a gross oversimplification? In a way to answer your question, in some ways, yes. But your question was, what are silencer characteristics that result in low flash signature? Oftentimes, it's low flow rate. Oh, also, don't make a silencer out of titanium. And if you do, coat it with something. If you have an uncoated titanium silencer, you are going to flash like a sparkler on the 4th of July with little Bobby Sue or whoever. I don't know if that's an appropriate name for a child. A child holding a, maybe it is in 2021. No, oh gosh, I digress. Maybe, a child holding a sparkler. That's what it's going to look like. Like here's a good example. Take a Q anything rifle, right? Thunder Chicken, Trash Panda, Full Nelson, Half Nelson. You put that on a freaking 556 SBR and you shoot that at night. You let me know what you see. It's going to be Flash Town USA. Why is that? Well, the titanium is actually eroding particles off of the leading edges of the baffles and other parts of it, and it's burning in the air. It's literally extra combustion from titanium burning in the air. That's what sparklers coming out of titanium are when you shoot them. Now, can you have a titanium silencer with lower flash? You can, but you have to coat it with a special coating. So like CGS does that, I know, with like boron nitride on the interior of theirs, for example. They're not the only ones, but they're one that does that with titanium. But then, what do you usually do when you want ultra low flash? Well, you usually have a tighter bore made of steel. I'm not telling you I've tested flash high fidelity methods yet, but I'm saying like that's what you need to think about. Okay, I hope that helps. And you'll notice that I'll post some pictures I'll post a group of 556 silencers for you today that have some features to mitigate flash when they have high flow rate. You'll see what I'm talking about. OSS, I'm looking at your direction. Okay, what are we doing on time? How are we doing on time? We're an hour in. I bet I'm going to do some more questions for you. Okay. Question 85, local question 14. Silencer Co. switchback review / analysis of flow between super and subs across different orientation of baffles. Okay, this is a request from a listener. Thank you, sir or ma'am, for this wonderful question / request. It's actually something I've wanted to do. So I guess to answer your request or question, absolutely. I do actually, and you know what? I have one in inventory on loan. Booyah. So I haven't even shot it, dude. It's been sitting in my inventory. That I will test every configuration on rifle and on pistol and fully characterize it completely, for sure. I think Silencer Co. claimed, what do they claim? 108 dB when they released that silencer. But of course that is with slow measurement techniques. Single point. They're filtered and it's like some kind of anonymous like peak data. Like I don't know what that is. I don't know what their data. I don't know how you get 108 dB out of anything. Doesn't make any sense. You've seen how loud. Let's see real quick. All right, pewscience.com. Hold on. All right, sound signature reviews. I'm going to go to the top of the page here. I'm typing Oculus, which I haven't shown you a lot of 22 reviews because, frankly, like it's not interesting right now. They're all quiet. Well, no, that's not true. A lot of them are quiet. Okay, so I clicked on this. I'm going to scroll down to, that was a long time ago I did this. The peak average pressure of the Oculus on the 16-inch long bolt action 22 rifle with CCI standard velocity. The average was 122.8 dB, and Silencer Co. saying 108. Relax. 108. I can see in my little waveforms here, fire and pin drops 97 decibels, combustion in barrel 103.8 decibels, peak after the gas enters the silencer 104 decibels, peak after the gas exits the silencer 122.9 dB. Look how clean those waveforms are too. You know they're right. Look how clean they are, dude. Come on, man. Tell me you're getting 108 dB when the Oculus is, you're going to have to get. And that's scary that they're saying 108 dB. That shows you how slow their system is. Oh my God. Because look at the curves. Actually, if you want, Sound Signature Review 6.1, the very first Sound Signature Review on pewscience.com that I ever published. If you look at Figure 2B, look at the consistency of the peaks. And like, there's no first round pop with the Oculus. There is. You can see it in impulse space, but it's not perceptible really, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But if you, on this gun, if you look at how smooth those peaks, could you imagine getting to 108 dB? What would that mean? What's 108 dB? 108 dB is like, how many pascals is that? Like, not even. I mean, you'd be cutting off such a big portion of that. Like, oh my God, like what does that even mean? What an irresponsible thing to say about a silencer. So yeah, I think that's an irresponsible data point to give. But who knows? Maybe it's super quiet. We're going to find out. And plus, like I remember when they released it and they said, oh yeah, we're going to switch the baffle configuration around. So what they're going to do by doing that, they'll probably speed up the flow rate and part of it too. So what is that going to do? I don't know. Is it going to like maybe have kind of some kind of weird flow stagnation they have to get rid of? I wouldn't think so. Just due to the low pressure and low pressures involved. But then again, it is a small volume, so there might be some things going on. I don't know. I haven't shot the silencer. I bet it's quiet. I bet you it's super quiet, dude. It's not going to be 108 dB, but I bet it's really quiet. I bet it is. Is it the quietest 22 silencer? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. It's really, I mean, I know you guys want to know how quiet this stuff is, and I understand Pew Science can do that for you, but there's a reason why I haven't published more 22 data. It's like, oh my God, like just don't buy a Silencer Co. Sparrow. That thing has loud first round pop. Other than that, man, there's a lot of silencers on the market that are pretty new that are going to be quiet. Like you got the Dare Mask, Rugged Oculus, and there's more. So knock yourself out. I'm sorry. I know that might be a cop out for you right now, but to answer your question, yeah, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it all up. I'm going to get all up in that silencer. Okay. Question 86, local question 15. What is the better attachment method? A non-tapered barrel with direct thread silencer or a cherry bomb with a plan B? Thanks. Oh, well, you're most welcome, sir or ma'am. Let me read this again. What is the better attachment method? A non-tapered barrel with direct thread, basically, or cherry bomb with plan B? Well, good question. I guess I would say it depends what you're doing. I use direct thread on the Helios, for example, because I want to save length. That's really the only reason. Oh, and the cherry bomb isn't black, so I don't like that on my black guns. I do not like bling on my black rifle, dude. I like gray and black, dude. What am I going to put like gold on my? What is this? I'm just not into that, dude. Some people are. Some people don't care. There's like, there's this trend of like everyone wants to be like colorful and like because guns are cool, and yeah, guns are cool. But you know what else I think is cool? Black guns. Black gun lives matter. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. That's just a personal preference, really. It doesn't matter. Cherry bombs are fine. I mean, not for 5.56 machine gun necessarily. I don't need the diffusing element the cherry bomb offers for the silencer I use. So like, why? I don't know. But if I was going to use a Thunder Chicken or a Trash Panda, well, of course I would use you have to use the cherry bomb. It's personal preference. Maybe like, the plan B, maybe that's what you're asking, sir or ma'am. You are. Actually, your question was direct thread on cherry bomb with plan B. The plan B, it's going to prevent unscrewing of the silencer. So that is a benefit over direct thread. But if you tighten the silencer with a wrench, it's going to be okay too. So one other thing that's cool is that the cherry bomb is going to protect your barrel threads as a secondary thread protector. So that's something that's cool. One other thing to worry about, you don't have to worry about it, but the plan B will increase the back pressure of the system. I'm pretty sure that's true. I haven't quantified it, but I think you need to think about that. Check with folks that use your silencer with a plan B on the host you want to use, okay? You say, your question was, what is the better attachment method? There's no better. It's just, it's all about what you need to do. For your situation, I don't know, sir or ma'am. I don't know. I hope that gives you enough information, though. Like when I said the cherry bomb's not good for an M16, it's because like when you under like significant heavy use, I have been told that it will deform. I don't know if it's built for like those Plan Bs are for like Trash Pandas and Thunder Chickens, right? They're just sacrificial blast baffles for titanium silencers that have a diffusing element that's super simple and light. Like they're meant to be. You know what it is actually meant to be? It's meant to be a tapered barrel muzzle that fits on the 90-degree shoulder, so you can use a tapered muzzle without having to taper your barrel. That's really what a Plan B is. Nothing more. The fact that they started cherry bomb. That's all a cherry bomb is, and nothing more. The fact that they started selling the Plan B that lets your other silencers work with the cherry bomb is that's just a business thing, dude. They didn't start doing that. They didn't do that from the start. They started it later Why? Cool, because there was a market for it. Because people had bad mounts. So they're like, well, our mount works. Here you go. And it was easy to make. And they make a lot of money doing it. Just like everyone else that makes mounts. So I don't... Like if you... forget about the Plan B for a second. You need to be focused on the cherry bomb. If you want to use a cherry bomb with your silencer and it's not a Q silencer, use a Plan B. If you don't want to use a cherry bomb, don't. I think that's what you need to be asking yourself. Do more research on the Plan B, or the cherry bomb. I might be butchering that. I keep interchanging the two words. Do more research on the cherry bomb. If you don't want to use a cherry bomb, then you're not going to use a Plan B. If you do like the cherry bomb, the Plan B is for you. If you shoot unsuppressed, the cherry bomb can be a threat protector, but it's going to be loud. I mean, I don't know. All right, let's do one more. I'm clearly going off the rails here. Question 87, local question 16. What makes a good subsonic suppressor compared to a supersonic suppressor? Oh, excellent question, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back and thank the Plan B question. That was an excellent question. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what is better, direct thread or Plan B. I don't know. Again, I don't know, but thank you. It was a great question. Okay, this question. What makes a good subsonic suppressor compared to a supersonic suppressor? Okay, let me read that again. What makes a good subsonic suppressor compared to a supersonic suppressor? I guess if it's quiet, it's good? No. Okay, let me try to answer. The answer is subsonic silencers need to be able to trap gas full stop. Okay? That's it. They need to be able to trap and cool gas before exit. The flow is moving slower, so the bigger and better the baffles are, the more of them there are, the better. Like you strengthen numbers. Brute force is an excellent way to do it. You don't have to, but if you're lazy or don't know what you're doing. When it comes to supersonic silencers, the name of the game is exactly the same. Actually, the issue you run into is the rate of the fill of the silencer. And when your silencer fills up really quick, dynamically in certain regions, in other words, like if certain regions pressurize really fast and then the flow keeps coming, because the mass flow, like the mass flow rate and the energy flow rate out of the muzzle, following the bullet, if it keeps coming for a certain amount of time, it's just going to ride over the pressurized zone and it's going to keep going out of the front and it's going to be loud. So this is kind of what happens with the Q silencers. Their bore is really big and the baffles are pretty simple. If they tighten their bore, that would work a lot better, but at the expense of back pressure and possibly issues with accuracy or hitting the bore, really. So rugged stuff, dead air stuff, wreck stuff, all the little cone baffles you see, all those hit limits too. It's not until you get to like an Omega baffle or like a Dead Air Nomad or a CGS Hyperion or a Helios or other coaxial designs where you really are able to get gas out of the way in a really efficient way and keep those pressure zones fresh, dude. You got fresh to death. There are other silencers that are good too, besides the ones I just mentioned, but those are some popular ones. So the difference is, to answer your question, sir, man, the difference is how you deal with high pressure stagnation, what your volume is for subsonic. So you asked, what makes a good subsonic suppressor compared to supersonic suppressor? Most good subsonic suppressors have enough baffles and are big. Most good supersonic suppressors are complicated inside. I mean, that's the long and short of it. Okay, I'm going to highlight that in yellow. I hope that was enough. You understand what I'm saying when I say high pressure zone stagnation, right? You understand that, like, if you force gas into the silencer at a very high flow rate with a supersonic cartridge, and you provide a path for the gas to exit stage left when the going gets hot, then you can provide more room for the rest of the gas to go where the going wants to go, where the gas wants to go, where the going gets going, where the gas gets going. When the going gets hot, make sure you relieve high pressure stagnation so the gas can get going. Pew science. No, but that's really how supersonic rifle silencers work. Okay, we're going to save that. Save our spreadsheet. And we have quite a few questions in the queue. I just scrolled down and had a heart attack, so we're going to close that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 44 seconds. Topic 4, dealers spotted in the wild using Pew Science data in their shops. The suppression rating might be at a gun counter near you. Member dealers. Pew Science member dealers are leading the way. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. Guys, I'm telling you, man, I have been getting sent photos of and you guys are, it's blowing my mind. I have been getting sent photos of people with Pew Science suppression rating chart printed out on 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper on their silencer display cases on gun counters. Nationwide, dude. You guys are doing it. You're spreading the Pew Science gospel. I was told by a dealer a few days ago, and I am paraphrasing, I was told the Pew Science suppression rating is second only to the silencer shop kiosk when selling silencers. That was one of the most powerful statements I have ever heard from a dealer advocate of Pew Science. So thank you. You guys tell me you guys do tell me, you guys in your shops, you do tell me you're helping consumers with the data. That warms my heart bigger than a great big bowl of applesauce. Man, I tell you what, thank you. Thank you to all our members, our consumer members, the salt of the earth, grassroots Pew Science Army warriors. Thank you. The manufacturer members, the clients that trust us with not only their intellectual property, but understanding how it works and their R&D. Thank you to the dealers trusting us with information to give consumers, using our tools to be a conduit of knowledge for those consumers. Thank you to Silencer Shop. Thank you to Pew Science. Thank you to all of you listeners. Stay tuned this week for highly anticipated fresh data straight out of the oven. You're going to like it. Talk to you folks again soon. Bye.